Hey, what is going on, guys? This is the SS Ultimate Goku back with another video. And right now I'm gonna talk more about this whole league MVP controversy. Um, because it seems like we're having even more publicity from this than we did prior to the announcement, even though we had a lot of people talking about this debate before the announcement who won MVP. Now, even after the MVP, it seems like so many people are talking about this MVP. Now, I gave my explanation to why I felt Josh Allen would probably get the MVP in my previous video, and though this is prior to even the playoffs starting. So keep that in mind. But Josh Allen won the league MVP. Now, that didn't surprise me that he won it. I would have liked it to be more of a co-MVP type situation like in 2003 with Steve McNair and Peyton Manning, which, by the way, Peyton Manning and Steve McNair that year were first and second team All-Pro. And they both won co-MVP with 16 votes each. I would have been completely fine if they both won co-MVP. That, to me, would have been the way to have resolved this, because I don't think Josh Allen not winning the award would have been the right call. I think Josh Allen, yes, statistically, Lamar's stats were better, but again, the way the award is supposed to be given is based on value. Who was the most valuable player? And to me, you can't say it wasn't Josh Allen. Josh Allen did less, or he did more with less. He did more with less than Lamar Jackson. The whole idea, he beat him head to head, that's a dumb argument, because then you could argue that some of the times that Peyton Manning won league MVP, that maybe he should have lost out to Drew Brees, which, by the way, we talk about 2009, Drew Brees probably should have won it. Hell, even Brett Favre. Brett Favre should have won it that year because he had 41 touchdown passes. But yet they gave it to Peyton Manning because of favoritism. Peyton Manning was always favored in the league to always winning those league MVPs. And I could argue the 09 and 08 season when he won league MVP that he shouldn't have won it those years. Now, of course, that was before the NFL Honors Show. So, and this is another problem with the NFL Honors Show. Because the NFL Honors Show, they do it like 3 days before the Super Bowl. They don't reveal who the MVP is or any of that stuff for NFL Honors. Prior to NFL Honors, they used to just like announce the award like a couple days after the regular season ended, and they would then announce it right before the first playoff game started. And to me, I really think they should go back to doing that, because there's way too much controversy going in to these playoff games, and people are talking more about the MVP than talking about the guys that are trying to go on and win a Super Bowl. And I can tell you right now, Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen would rather be holding a Vince Lombardi trophy right now than holding a league MVP trophy award. The one takeaway I take away from this award is looking at the votes. Saquon Barkley, the running back for the Eagles, did not get a single first place vote. And to me, that is ridiculous. That, to me, tells me that some of these voters don't know what they're watching. Now, I'm not going to say, come on here and say that Saquon Barkley definitively should have won the league MVP, but the fact that he wasn't even considered, in first place. I was looking at the votes, and it like, they had third place, Saquon Barkley had a bunch of votes in the third place column or whatever. Like, that was where he got the majority of his votes. He didn't get any first. He didn't get any second. Like, I'm like, dude, come on. Like, this is what I'm talking about, the biasness of the quarterback position has become such a biased position now, because now every time it has to go to the quarterback no matter what. And if it does go to a running back, it's on some rare season like Adrian Peterson. He had over 2,000 yards, which, of course, Saquon Barkley had, but, of course, they decided not to give it to him. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing that I think is really dumb about this award. Now, again, this is a regular season award. I think they really should have the NFL Honors Show like right after the playoffs, or they should just reveal who the MVP is after the season's over. Forget about it being on NFL Honors. Have the other awards be on NFL. It's not like they announced the first team All-Pro and second team All-Pro on NFL Honors. They announced it before that. So, why do we announce the first team and second team All-Pro positions, at the start of the playoffs still, but then when it comes to the MVP, we have to wait until NFL Honors? Because that's where I think this whole thing is ridiculous, because once that came out, everybody was like, oh, Lamar Jackson for sure is going to win the league MVP now. And everyone then is like, oh my God, Josh Allen did win it. Come on. Like, this is so dumb. Like just reveal it right after the regular season. Like, I'm so annoyed by this. I'm so annoyed that we don't know for several goddamn weeks when they already do their voting, and we have to wait until the dawn of the Super Bowl when the playoffs aren't considered. You know what I'm saying? Like, if the playoffs, if what they were doing in the playoffs was considered into this award, which it isn't, because they do the voting at the end of the season before the playoffs even begin, then I would say, okay, then we, have the NFL Honors Show, but they don't do that. They make you wait for a regular season award that has no factors in on any of the playoff games that they play prior to the Super Bowl. That, to me, is just disingenuous to everybody. Like, we're arguing about the MVP. Who's the MVP? When they did Ravens and Bills, it's the battle of the MVPs, right? The MVP game, And people were talking more about that than they were talking about, this game. Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson didn't give two shits on who won the league MVP when they were playing each other. They wanted to advance to the AFC Championship game. They wanted to win a Super Bowl. But again, we had to talk about that. It was just so dumb, man. It was dumb. And I like Josh and Lamar. I like the way they both play. They play the game. They're both great quarterbacks. But the divide that everyone had, the people that were pro Lamar or pro Josh, I'm just like, God damn. Mostly it was from Ravens and Bills fans. But I'm just talking about when, you get into the debates with people that aren't even necessarily Bills or Ravens fans that are talking about it. I'm a Packers fan, of course. But, I just was looking at this. I looked at it this way, is that people were being really silly with this. Now, the idea that Lamar, again, because he had the more stats, was the reason why he should have gotten. And I don't believe in that, because, again, if we're going by strictly stats, Dak Prescott should have won it last year. You could argue multiple league MVPs that should have, or multiple people that should have won league MVP then, if we're going to go in that way. But I also want to say is how the hell did Dan Orlovsky become a goddamn voter? I know he voted for Josh Allen, but I just don't understand that. Like, because again, when I think Associated Press, I'm thinking of people that are actually writing newspapers. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking it's voters that are goddamn, like, people that are like writing newspapers for like the New York Times or something like that, or like that's what I'm thinking though. Like, I'm thinking that those are the people that are voting. I didn't realize that they were all the damn sportscasters, like, that are actually, doing the shows. Like, does Stephen A. Smith get a vote? Or like who gets these votes? Like, why does Dan Orlovsky get a vote? He used to play like quarterback and wasn't that good. Okay? Like, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to totally shit on him, but I mean, that's the reality. It's like he wasn't that good of a player. So why does he get to vote on it? Like, if you're going to give it to somebody, give it to somebody that actually was a franchise. Like, does Tom Brady get one? Like, Tom Brady, to me, is more qualified to have an AP vote over Dan Orlovsky. You know, just because he's a ESPN sports telecaster, that gives him a goddamn vote? Like, how do we decide this now? Because, like I said, I thought it was just newspaper people that were doing that were voting on this shit. Like people that write the sports articles for like newspapers and stuff like that. But no, it's actual people that are like talking about this on TV. Like the sportscasters that are debating this on TV for the past month and a half, they're the ones that are voting on it. So they're creating all this propaganda on our television sets, talking about who should be the MVP and why it should be the MVP. The people that were on Lamar's camp, the people that were on Josh's camp, or even the people that are on Saquon's camp. They're the ones that are arguing this. And they're at the same time, they're arguing for themselves, because when they're arguing this, they already know who they voted for. They have already made their mind up on whether they're pro Lamar or they're pro Josh. So they're already arguing this. You know, people that are doing the stuff on ESPN, they're arguing these points to why they voted for them. They can't say it, but you know that that's what they're doing. They are prepping that up so they can make you know that, yes, this is who we're voting for, but we can't tell you that until the NFL honors is over. And that's where I'm pissed, because it's like, you already knew who you were voting for. You're just basically trying to create your own narrative to us to why you voted that way. But that's what I'm saying, man. Like, if we're going to start giving it to people on television that are doing all these, debates on why they should be the league MVP, man, they should not have that damn vote. They shouldn't be having that vote. It should be someone that's not debating this on television. Like give it to Tom Brady then, because Tom Brady's technically in the media too now. He's a play-by-play guy for Fox, right? Well, I know he's part owner for the Raiders now, but give it to him. Give it to, Greg Olsen then. If you can't give it to Brady because technically he's a minority owner of the Raiders now, give it to Greg Olsen. He's a former player. Why are they not getting it? I don't want to hear this argument that they don't deserve it when you give it to people that literally weren't good at the sport they played. Dan Orlovsky, I know he's a good guy. Like, I'm not trying to take that away from him, but in terms of him as a player, he sucked. He sucked as a player. We all know that. So why does he get the vote? Maybe they should hand it off to Tony Romo. He's friggin' a play-by-play. Like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, why is it people that are former players that weren't that good? Why aren't the votes going to people that are like former league MVPs then themselves, or former all-pro players? Why is it going to people like that? Like, I just don't understand it, man. I don't. Now, normally, again, the league MVP is usually a landslide victory or close to a landslide victory on who they decide is the league MVP, because it's like, usually there's one dominant player that you cannot say he isn't the MVP. But this year was kind of weird, because you had a guy like Lamar who had a ton of goddamn stats, who was dominating, but at the same time, you had someone like Josh Allen who was dominating with less talent, at his disposal. And then, of course, you had Saquon Barkley, who, again, I'm really pissed off that he didn't get a single first-place vote. Like, I'm more pissed off about that. Like, how do you not give Saquon, even a few? Like, I predicted on my last video that I believed Saquon was going to get a few first-place votes, which might have helped either Lamar or Josh win it. But, of course, that didn't happen. Me, personally, what I think they need to do is they need to go back to the simple 50 votes, and that's the end of it. No first, no second, no third, for MVP. None of that shit. Okay. We go back to 50 votes, first place, who gets the most wins. If it's a tie, co-MVPs, period, end discussion. That's how it should be, and we need to go back to people that actually are qualified to be voters, because some of these people, I just don't understand how they are voters. Like, I was like looking at the people that are voting, and I'm like, how are these guys considered voters? Like, how do you become a voter at this point? Because I gotta know. I gotta know how these guys become voters. Like, how do they become voters at this point? AP, man, you guys gotta get your shit together, man. You guys gotta get your shit together, because it's like, how are you picking these guys? How are you guys picking these guys to be the voters? Like, what is this now? I'm like, we are literally picking voters that are on ESPN, Fox, CBS, whoever. We're picking analysts. Why isn't Rich Eisen a voter at this point? Is Rich Eisen wasn't a voter from when I looked at it. He wasn't a voter. And then why isn't Rich Eisen a voter? Rich Eisen, man, like what, man? Like, why didn't he get a vote then? Why is it all these ESPN people? Like, I don't know how many ESPN voters there were, but like, I'm just like I from what I've seen in the last couple of days, I've seen more ESPN voters than I've seen others. So I just don't get it, man. I don't get where this is going and what they're doing. But this was a rare year where it was a competition. But again, I like that it was a competition. I like that there was a competition in it, because again, when it's obvious, it's not as fun. But at the same time, I would like actual voters, that like aren't the ones that are like discussing segments on TV on who should be the MVP, because it's a conflict of interest. If you're arguing stuff on TV, a lot of people are going to probably know that, hey, we know that you're the one who voted this way and we seen your segment, so you're kind of being a little biased because you already had your mind made up. Like, I just didn't, I didn't like the aftermath of this, finding out who the voters were and knowing who the voters were, especially since a lot of these people, again, were on these TV segments arguing this for weeks, before they casted their votes and even after they casted their votes. So that's my take on it. Let me know what you guys think. What do you guys think about the MVP? Who do you guys personally thought should have won? And what do you think about the voter system and where we should go on this? Let me know what you guys think. I really like to have a discussion on this. Comment, rate, if you're into my videos, please subscribe, hit the notification bell for those contents. Thank you. And that's about it, guys. I am the Ultimate Goku. I'm out of here. Peace. Also, make sure YouTube channel, the Twitch, the Instagram, all Ultimate Goku. I do have a Discord link in the description for discussions, as well as I do have a YouTube tier list. So make sure to check that all out. And now I'm out. Peace.